During the Great Depression, most families stood in bread lines. But some actually ate better than we do today. Not because they were rich, but because they grew 20 tough, resilient vegetables that laughed at drought and fed families all winter long. We've forgotten their names. Today we're bringing them back. First up, the rutabaga, the poor man's potato. Lantern light spills across rough wood and earthen walls as bins of roots come into view. A humble powerhouse with more vitamin C than an orange, thick, sweet, and built for the long haul. In a cool cellar, it keeps for months, steady as winter. Look closer. Labels, dusty edges, and sturdy skins. Drought-tolerant, forgiving in poor soil, this survivor crop quietly anchored cold season meals. Hands loosen the autumn soil and lift stout rutabagas free. Earth brushed off, tops trimmed, roots set gently into baskets. Stored cool and dark, a rutabaga keeps for 6 months. No refrigeration, no fuss. In a quiet cellar, crates stack into certainty. When frost arrives, dinner is already waiting. In the kitchen, peel and cube. Into the pot with onions, broth, and herbs. Simmer until tender, sweet, peppery, practical comfort. Reliability when winter is long and money is short. Then there's the mangle wurzel, giant beets as big as bowling balls, sometimes 20 pounds, stacked in wheelbarrow loads at the field's edge. In the kitchen, thick slices hit the tray, roasted to an earthy sweetness, edges caramelized and steaming. Whatever wasn't eaten was chopped and fed to hogs and chickens, stretching one harvest through the winter. The ultimate 2-in-1 crop: feed the family, feed the animals, and feed the family again. Sugar was a luxury, so they grew parsnips. Leave them through a hard frost and starch turns to natural sugar, nature's candy. Section 2. For true food security, plant Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes. Plant once, and they return every year. Tough, drought-tolerant, and happy in poor soil, sunchokes shoot up 6 to 10 feet, bloom late, and bank calories below the frost line in crisp, nutty tubers. Eat them raw like water chestnuts, or roast for sweetness. Rich in inulin for gut health, they deliver low-input calories. Just remember, they spread, so give them borders or a contained bed. Harvest after frost. Lift a clump. Twist off the knobby tubers, then replant a few pieces to reset the patch. Store in the ground or keep cool and slightly damp. Bottom line: perennial, reliable and generous. Start small, contain the edges, and you'll have food returning every year. In the hard months, when snow sealed the fields and pantries ran thin, one crop kept showing up like a quiet promise. Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes. Homely, knobby, stubbornly alive beneath the frost. Families learned the rhythm: mark the patch before first snow, wait for a bright, brittle morning, then take a spade to the drift and pry up tubers from the cold earth. Even when the ground was frozen, you could still dig them up. Food when the pantry thinned. They didn't need pampering, no perfect soil, no precious inputs, just a corner of ground and time. High energy, store-as-you-go calories you could harvest on demand, week after week, while winter asked hard questions. The method was simple and repeatable. Lift a crate of tubers, knock off the snow, and tuck them into burlap. Some went straight to the pot. The rest disappeared into the cellar. Cool, dry air. Shelves lined with jars and baskets. Sand boxes that kept the bulbs crisp for months. No refrigeration, no supply chain. Just knowledge: how to leave half the patch in the ground as a living pantry, how to rotate the dig so the clump regrew stronger each spring. It wasn't flashy, but it worked. In a winter economy of scarcity, Jerusalem artichokes turned a backyard into insurance. Calories you could count on, resilience you could touch. Modern gardeners pay to kill dandelions. In the 1930s they were lifelines. Cultivated dandelions brought the first fresh greens of spring, picked at dawn, dew still on the leaves, bundled into baskets, then rinsed in a cool basin to tame the bitterness. Tossed simply with vinegar, salt, and a splash of saved fat, they became a bright, crisp salad, the season's first taste of fresh. Lamb's quarters, often called nature's gift, packs more iron than spinach and thrives in brutal summer heat. Look along sunny rows and garden edges. Diamond-shaped goose-foot leaves with a soft, powdery dusting on the underside. Harvest tender tops 4 to 8 inches long. Snip, don't yank, leaving plants to regrow and avoid roadsides or sprayed areas. Back home, rinse away grit, then give it a quick sauté in cast iron with a splash of oil, garlic, and a pinch of salt. It wilts in under 2 minutes, nutty, mineral-rich, and deeply satisfying. Fast heat tames oxalates while preserving nutrients. Iron-rich, heat-tolerant, depression-proof greens for brutal summers. Together, these plants formed a resilient system. Garden rows waking in spring, fresh greens on the table first. Then came the sugar from frost-sweet roots, carrots, beets, and mangles prepped in the kitchen. Jars cooled, shelves filled, and the cellar stacked, stores that carried families through winter. Our grandparents didn't just survive, they grew their way through crisis. In the glow of sunset, they turned yards into food, habits into systems, and scarcity into practice. The principle was simple: plant what lasts, store what keeps, and share what works. Resilience wasn't a slogan, it was soil under fingernails, rows planned for winter, and cellars stocked when the first frost bit. That's how a community outlasts hard times. The method endures: sturdy crops, steady routines, compost in, seeds saved, beds rotated, harvest what's fresh, cure what needs keeping, and tuck the rest away for lean months. It's elegant because it's repeatable: sun, soil, season, storage. No excess, no waste, just steady returns when the world turns uncertain. Bring the principle forward. Grow a few resilient staples, learn to keep them, and trade knowledge like seed. Build margin in your pantry and community in your neighborhood. When the light fades and the cold sets in, that quiet discipline, planted now, carries you through. If you're ready to reclaim this forgotten wisdom, start small. One bed, a few seeds, a cellar shelf. Plant what keeps well, roots and hardy greens, and label, store, and share. This is how resilience begins, one shelf at a time. Subscribe for more resilient gardening guides. See you in the next one.